Greetings viewers and welcome back to the review program. This week Tashkent was the venue for the massive cultural exchange because it hosted the World Conference on Creative Economy. So in this episode we're going to analyze this forum.
Conference on Creative Economy is taking place this October in Uzbekistan.
4-chi Butunjahon kreativ iqtisodiyot
Butunjahon kreativ iqtisodiyot konferensiyasida ko'rganimizdan bag'oyat xursandmiz.
Bu anjumanda ishtirok etish maqsadida dunyodan 2000 dan ortiq delegatlar yetib kelishgan.
On October 2nd to 4th, Tashkent hosted 4th World Conference on Creative Economy. The conference gathered over 2,000 leaders and professionals from creative industries worldwide to discuss the future of creative economy and the impact of emerging technologies. But before we proceed with the details of the event, first let's define the creative economy and its key aspects. The creative economy represents a dynamic sector that blends cultural technology and innovation, symbolizing a significant shift into how value is generated in the modern world. At its core, the creative economy is a sector that harnesses the power of imagination and innovation to generate economic growth and development. It includes industries such as advertising, architecture, arts and craft, design, fashion, film, music, performing arts, publishing, research and development, software, TV, radio, and video games. These industries are characterized by their reliance on intellectual property and the creation of knowledge-based products. According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the global market for the creative goods and services has expanded immersively over the past 2 years, outpacing the growth of traditional industries. This sector not only stimulates job creation but also promotes cultural diversity and social inclusion, making it a vital driver of sustainable development. A recent UNCTAD survey indicates that the creative economy accounts for between 0.5 and 7.3% of GDP and between 0.5 and 12.5% of the workforce in countries where data is available. It accounts for 20% of global services exports and 3% of American side exports, making it cornerstone of global economy. Several key trends are currently shaping the creative economy. First, digital transformation is revolutionizing how creative content is produced, distributed, and consumed. Second, there is a growing emphasis on the sustainability within the creative economy. Lastly, the intersection of creativity and innovation technologies is fostering the unprecedented innovation. So now, as you're familiar with the concept of creative economy, let's move on to the World Conference on Creative Economy. The WCCE was conceived as a response to the growing recognition of the creative economy's significance in fostering economic growth, cultural diversity, and social inclusion. Recognizing the need for a dedicated forum to address the unique challenges and the opportunities within the sector, the inaugural WCCE was held in Bali, Indonesia in 2018. The conference was organized under the auspices of the Indonesia's Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy in collaboration with the various international partners. Its primary purpose is to bring together policymakers, industry leaders, scholars, and creatives from around the world to exchange ideas, share best practices, and forge partnerships aimed at enhancing the creative economy's contribution to sustainable development. In 2020, the WCCE was hosted in virtual format due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2021, the conference was hosted in Dubai, and in 2022, it returned to Bali. Uzbekistan has long been involved in the work of WCCE. This year, Tashkent was chosen as the venue for this beautiful and creative forum.
Sizlarni 4-chi Butunjahon kreativ iqtisodiyot konferensiyasida Ko'rganimizdan bag'oyat xursandmiz.
We kindly invite Prime Minister of the Republic of Uzbekistan.
The main theme of WCCE 2024 was inclusive creativity transforming reality. It focused on social and economic challenges related to technological advancements and the role of creative industries in shaping a sustainable future. At the opening ceremony of the forum, Uzbekistan's Prime Minister Abdulla Aripov welcomed the guests from different parts of the world. He mentioned that today Uzbekistan has 14,000 companies operating in the creative industry, with nearly 100,000 young people working in this field. In 5 years, these numbers are expected to increase, and the creative industry's share of GDP is projected to reach 5%. To achieve this, it is necessary to create an environment and conditions for creators, strengthen intellectual property protection, and ensure freedom of creativity. Uzbekistan aims to become a center of the creative industry through these efforts. Global trends show that creative economy's turnover exceeds $2.3 trillion annually, with the global export indicators reaching $215 billion. According to forecasts, it is expected to account for 10% of global GDP in the next 10 to 15 years. When it comes to Uzbekistan, the share of exports generated by the creative industries as part of the country's total exports accounts for 4.74%, worth over $936 million of exported goods and services. The total trade balance of the creative industries makes up over $363 million. The number of creative entities by the sector is as follows: manufacturing 10%, media and communications 38%, technical creative sectors 36%, education 5%, art and entertainment 11%. The key events at the conference included a meeting of ministers on creative economy, an exhibition showing achievements in creative industries globally and in Uzbekistan, as well as numerous workshop, masterclasses and practical sessions. The guest list of the International Forum was quite prestigious. These include Secretary General of UNCTAD, Deputy Director General WIPO, the Chairperson of Qatar Museums, Doha Film Institute, Reach Out Asia and Qatar Leadership Center, and Co-Chair of Fashion Trust Arabia, as well as British supermodel Naomi Campbell. They spoke at the forum about the importance of sustainable development, creating new jobs, and encouraging creators to develop creative ideas and projects. During the forum sessions, the role of technology such as artificial intelligence in changing the rules of game in the field was also widely discussed.
Really, congratulations to the country. The indicators of how poverty has gone down, how education has gone up, how you are diversifying the economy are very important, and really very good news as an example for the world. So we will work together with Uzbekistan in the priorities that the government has put forward for trade, for investment, and for sustainable growth.
I would like to ask you, in Paris, how you use the creative economy?
Oh, we use it in a very different fields and a lot, because it's a soft power, very important all over the world. So in Paris, we used to that for many, many years. But here it's very important to show the history of the country. And it's to be here in Silk Road. It makes me feel really happy.
Creative economy is so important to our islands, and especially to small island developing nations. It's really a way for us to transform our economies and have sustainable development. So we're excited to be here at the WCCE and to meet all the different colleagues from around the world.
Is it opening new jobs, many new jobs in your country, creative economy?
Absolutely, and so many people are involved in creative economy, from dance to music to theatre to literature to fashion to modeling. So, it creates a lot of jobs, but especially for young people and for women. In the Caribbean and Latin America, it's the highest employer of young people and women. So it's a real force for transformation in our country, and that's why we think it's so important.
Museums have long served as the custodians of history, art and culture, offering a window into the past and the reciprocity of human achievement. However, the role of museums has evolved dramatically in recent years. They are no longer static institutions focused solely on preserving artifacts. Instead, they have transformed into a dynamic cultural hubs that engage communities, foster education, and stimulate dialogue. On the margins of the WCCE, one of the panel sessions focused on how technology is transforming museums, making them more interactive and accessible to a wider audience. The discussion covered examples of the implementation of augmented reality technologies, virtual tours, and other innovations that enhance the museum experience. Participants explored how modern technologies help preserve cultural heritage and make it more accessible. Museums have long served as custodians of history, art and culture, offering a window into the past and repository of human achievement. However, the role of museums has evolved dramatically in the recent years. They are no longer static institutions focused solely on preserving artifacts. Instead, they have transformed into dynamic cultural hubs that engage communities, foster education, and stimulate dialogue. On the margins of the WCCE, one of the panel sessions focused on how technology is transforming museums, making them more interactive and accessible to wider audience. The discussion covered examples of implementation of augmented reality technologies, virtual tours, and other innovations that enhance the museum experience. Participants explored how modern technologies help preserve cultural heritage and make it more accessible. By curating diverse collections and hosting dynamic programs, museums attract wide audiences, fostering cultural appreciation and dialogue. This stimulates local economies by creating jobs, supporting artists, and encouraging creative industries that thrive around these institutions. Iconic museums such as Louvre in Paris and the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City exemplify how museums can significantly boost local tourism.
A museum of the art of today, as the Solomon Guggenheim Foundation always has been dedicated to, of course what we do is support what artists want to say and do. We also look to the modern art of the past to tell those stories better. Technology can help with that, but the art can also quite well stand on its own. So at the Guggenheim at the moment, we're especially interested in what artists are telling us that they're interested in doing. Not just using technology to translate better what we do or tell stories better than we do or open all our data on the internet. All those things are important to do. But when it comes to cutting edge technology that you're asking about, things like AI in its many different aspects, we ask artists, like artists under our LG Art and New Technology Initiative, we award a prize that's awarded every year. We've had 2 in a row. The first artist was Stephanie Dinkins, who's been working with art and technology for decades now and is very interested and effective with AI. We ask her to make art and tell us what she wants to do with it, rather than us saying as a museum, this is what you ought to be doing with AI.
The integration of cutting-edge technologies modernizes the museum experience and ensures these institutions remain relevant and competitive in the rapidly evolving creative economy. By embracing innovation, museums can continue to contribute to cultural and economic development, ensuring the sustainability and growth for future generations. With a unique blend of Asian artifacts and contemporary art, museums in Uzbekistan are redefining their roles by integrating modern technologies and practices. The State Museum of History of Uzbekistan in Tashkent houses an intensive collection of artifacts that raise the nation's history atmosphere from ancient times to the present. To stay relevant in the digital age and attract diverse audience, museums in Uzbekistan are adopting several innovative practices. The integration of innovative technologies has significantly impacted visitors' engagement and the economic contribution of museums in Uzbekistan. Recent statistics indicate a 30% increase in visitors' numbers over the past 2 years due to digital tools and immersive technologies. This uptick is attributed to enhanced local interest and rise in international tourism as Uzbekistan's cultural heritage becomes more accessible and appealing. With positive outcomes of the use of AI also comes a negative impact. Secretary General of UNCTAD has shared her vision on the negative sides of AI in museums and possible solutions towards this issue.
Artificial intelligence is an opportunity, but it's also a risk. For many of the creators, artificial intelligence can only even almost like copy, the creativity, the ideas that have been exposed by creators. That's why intellectual property is so important. But not intellectual property only for the companies, but for the communities, for the cultural heritage, for the small artists. So we need to protect them from the possibility of artificial intelligence. Well, I think that it's very important, the legal framework. And we have to establish, but the legal framework cannot be established only in one country. It has to be established for the whole world, because if not, it doesn't work. And the Organization for Intellectual Property, WIPO, that was here today also in the morning, has established a framework for intellectual property, to protect creators from artificial intelligence. And right now, the UN has agreed in the General Assembly on a global digital compact, where you have also rules and standards that will be developed precisely with that intention.
In line with various sessions, various countries and organizations presented their rich cultures and opportunities at the creative and global villages. The visitors explored cultural aspects of the countries, exchanged the experiences and enjoyed the cultural diversity of the event. Details on that you may see in our next report. On the margins of the WCCE, various countries and organizations presented their rich cultures and opportunities at the creative and global villages. The visitors explored cultural aspects of the countries, exchanged experiences, and enjoyed the cultural diversity of the event. The World Conference on Creative Economy was established in Indonesia. A stand of this country was also presented at the village. Since this is the birthplace of the platform, we have talked to the representatives of the stand on the significance of the location choice.
Indonesia is a country that has a very diverse cultural heritage. Geographically, it's so diverse and has so many different indigenous communities and a history dating back a long time. So I think Indonesia becomes the perfect location for the birth of creativity evolving, which is the theme for this conference. So I believe that's the reason why I think Indonesia was the first one, right? And then continues to be part of it, because it's a place where there's so much of mixing of different cultures, thoughts, processes.
She has also shared her vision on Uzbekistan's role in creative economy development.
Uzbekistan holds a very rich culture also. It was the main center and in the center of the Silk Road, right, which dates back to when trade and commerce was actually thriving. And also Uzbekistan has done such an excellent job of preserving its cultural heritage. I mean, it's not just Samarkand, Tashkent, Bukhara, so many cities. So I think Uzbekistan has a very key role of an example of a country that's evolved, has become modern, has the latest technology, but still embraces its cultural heritage and the way it's blended it together. So I think Uzbekistan is a great example for many countries where you don't have to lose your history and culture in order to go forward.
Exhibitions and cultural villages of such kind play a crucial role in the creative economy. They attract visitors from around the globe and display the rich cultural heritage for each country. One of those famous exhibitions is Biennale in Venice. Uzbekistan has been part of this Biennale several times. We have talked to the multidisciplinary artist who also represents Uzbekistan in this Biennale.
I'm representing Uzbekistan at the 60th Venice Biennale of Art, together with Kızlar Collective and also a big creative team. And I think we were really lucky and really fortunate and just really humbled by the fact that ACDF, the Uzbekistan Art and Culture Development Foundation, has invited us to do this. The pavilion itself is really about women, young women in Uzbekistan. I think it's a very sort of genuine and honest expression of what we already do in our work, in my practice, in the practice of Kızlar Collective. And what we look at is the process of migration and the idea of, what is it like to maybe leave your home to another place or not even have a sense of home at all within the context of like Central Asian identity or Uzbek identity.
How do such pavilions attract the foreigners who visit the pavilion? How does it impact the cultural and art representation of Uzbekistan?
I think what was really attractive in our pavilion, and I think what really worked, is the fact that it was quite immersive. So we did use different languages, and when I say languages, I don't mean like spoken language, but visual language, language of sound, the tactile language, because we allowed the visitors to touch the sculptures, to touch everything, to interact with it. And there was this element of even playfulness. So first of all, I'm always for inclusive practices. So we made the pavilion understandable to people, young people and older people, people of different generations, people of different cultural backgrounds.
Overall, this conference and exhibitions of such serve a platform not only for Uzbekistan but also for other countries to share their experiences and views on creative economy and discuss its aspects from different angles. Overall, the conference concluded with a productive result. The Art and Cultural Development Foundation has put all its efforts to organize this significant event. We have talked with the deputy chairperson of the foundation on the concept of the forum and its outcomes. Let's talk about the concept of creative economy. How do you understand it?
Well, for us, the creative economy is the emerging sector of global economy where the products and services, they are knowledge-based. So basically, it's all about intellectual property and how we, accumulate this and how we use it as an economic value. And right now, the market for the creative economy is really growing. And I think Tashkent and Uzbekistan was chosen as a host of this World Conference for the particular reason, because there is a huge potential here in Uzbekistan as a regional center for the development of these creative industries, and especially considering the fact that most of the population is young, and statistics show us that the creative economy sectors, they are mostly employed by the young people worldwide. So there are many factors why Tashkent was chosen to host this conference, and the main one is, I think, is because of this great potential we have.
Could you highlight the key concepts here of the conference and the highlights from the outcomes of the conference?
During the conference, we have several events and several, main aspects of the conference. Especially, of course, it's the business program as such. It's the panels, it's the keynotes, it's our brilliant speakers who came from all over the world to share their ideas and to communicate with each other and talk and discuss about the creative economy as such. But at the same time, the format of the conference, it implies two big forums, like the ministerial meeting and the forum of Friends of what they call the Friends of Creative Economy Forum. So when the policymakers, academic specialists, the creators themselves, they gather to talk about the actual problems and the issues in the sphere of creative economy. We had extended the cultural program, the musical program. So it was a big extended program with the different events within it. So I think it was quite successful, and we managed to have it in a good level.
What were the outcomes? Maybe there are new agreements.
Well, within the conference, in the framework of this conference, for example, some agreements between Uzbekistan and Qatar were signed, especially on the preservation of the cultural heritage in Samarkand. So I think it's good timing and good framework to have these agreements.
What is fund's role in these developments?
So Art and Culture Development Foundation is the main organizer of this conference, along with our main partners from Indonesia, the Ministry of Creative Economy and Tourism, the UNCTAD and WIPO. And also we have our knowledge partners, is Asian Development Bank Institute, Westminster University in Tashkent, and the British Council. So basically ICDF was one of the main organizers. We were working on the program, we were working on the whole scenography, on the cultural program. It's of course with the help of our partners, we try to make it all happen.
How do you envision the future of the creative economy in Uzbekistan?
I believe that we have a huge potential, considering our rich culture, considering our heritage, considering the young population, considering that we are all, we have a lot of talents here in Uzbekistan, and of course it will drive us further, and it will only grow.
The conference concluded on October 4th. The closing ceremony was full of beautiful and breathtaking performances. Following the closing ceremony, the authorities of Indonesia announced that the 5th edition of WCCE will be hosted in Bali, Indonesia. So here our analysis comes to an end. Thank you for watching this program and stay tuned for the next episodes.